All right. Hey, guys, it's me, Assmonger, Vinny, Tim, whatever you want to call me. Um, it's been a minute. Um, I finally have time. It's not just that I had time. I had time before. I just didn't know what to say. But Palefest 3D 2024 is now out and in the books, and it's done. I was a part of it, and it's just so much to. I'm still soaking it all in, even like I said, days after it was over. And currently, me, like some of the other people that are part of Palefest, are going through a thing I call PPFD, post Palefest depression. Because for some of us, Palefest is an event, like no other. Like they always say, all other fest pale in comparison, and it does. Um, but I wanted to talk about my time there. I wanted to talk about some thank yous and just stuff dealing with Palefest, dealing with me and Palefest, dealing with others at Palefest, stuff that just made it. Um, every year, Palefest is an experience that I always will hold dear to me, um, and it is my sanctuary. It is my mecca. It is something that to experience it is much more different than just trying to explain what goes on there. Um, but anywho, um, it all started like because I was a part of it last year, doing the schlock treatment, doing a wrestling show. Actually, Bishop reaching out to me, asking me if I wanted to do the wrestling show to close out Palefest, and originally I didn't know if I wanted to or not. I was still nervous about it, and after talking to my wife, um, she was like, "Do it." She really pushed me to actually accepting it and being a part of it, and you know, because I knew I wanted to, I just didn't know. I don't know why I keep putting that on. I like this hat. It's ridiculous. I know I wanted to. I just didn't know. Um, it's kind of one of those things, We're married. I'd like my wife's blessing on things. And the fact that she gave me her blessing really meant a lot. It shows that she believes in me, and it's hard to get that, especially nowadays, you know. So we did that last year. Put on a heck of a performance. Even was able to bring my stuff and vend as well, just for that one day. And this year, it was still on the fence if Pale Fest was even going to happen this year. Didn't know. And it's kind of been like that each year. And yes, they went back down to 2 days, but then they did a third special, like a yard sale kind of thing, um, right outside the House of Mass, which was really cool for them to do. But it was on the fence if Pale Fest was going to happen this year. And fortunately enough, it did. And I had Bishop had messaged me and basically saying, "Be ready for something. When I tell you, when I give you you're going to get notified of something when that happens. Be ready." Um, and so it happened. And the funny thing was, we were joking around about stuff. Like I saw a logo, and I say, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if blah 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 blah?" And I was being kind of told in behind the scenes that I was hitting stuff on the head with what I was guessing, which is really cool. The theme being 3D this year and stuff like that. Um, and then when it came time, it was basically the signal was, unfortunately, we weren't able to run a wrestling show this year, which really sucked. Just they couldn't find a way to fit it in. It just wasn't in the cards for this year. However, I got invited to just be a regular vendor. And so I was like, that is awesome. Around the same time, family hit like bills and stuff. It wasn't a hardship. It just so happens that there was no extra money to be had around. And but fortunately enough, through fans and followers on my YouTubes, my Twitches, my TikToks, and whatnot, was able to work deals out with them to where they were going to get some limited edition stuff off of me, and I was going to procure a vendor space, which I did. Still keeping things on the down low. Did not want to talk about me doing that yet. Um, waiting to be notified when I'm announced and stuff. And being announced for it in itself was an amazing experience. Because in my head, like in wrestling, there's a group that tries to always tell people recognize your worth. And I try to do that, but at the same time, it's hard for me to, because I see all the other vendors and all the other artists and all the other people that will also be attending Palefest, and I hold them in a higher regards. So in my head, when they announced me, I loved it, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, nobody's going to care, because I'm not these other people that I hold in such high regards. And seeing a response of these people seeming excited that I'm coming back again, even if it's not wrestling, was pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. And so, wanting to go about making sure everything is good, everything looks good, having some really cool stuff just exclusive only to Palefest and whatnot, was really awesome. And then getting ready for it, making sure that, because when I looked into it, originally I was going to stay there all every night, but hotel room and everything like that, the cost of the hotel room, motel room, and all that, looking at that versus the gas it was just going to take me just to go there and back, it was actually cheaper just to drive there and back. So I ended up doing that. Then came the first day, setting up was a Thursday. I was able to pull in there, the very first person. I greeted a couple people going in. The very first person that, said my name was Bishop, and I was able to see them and gave Bishop a great big hug, gave AJ a great big hug. It'd been a year since I'd seen either of them. Over a year, because last year it was in October 13th, and so it'd been a year and a month since I'd seen them. And they're cool, I've only seen them one other time before then. I've barely talked to them, since then, and just try to keep in touch through Instagram, through Facebook, through YouTube posts, sending them stuff to the House of Mass and whatnot. So it just, seeing them in person again, it's like I just seen them yesterday, even though a year and a month had passed. The memories that I have at Palefest with everybody I interacted with is still fresh in my mind. That's how Palefest was for me. Kind of like how when I was going to Transworld all the time. Every year I'd go to Transworld, the interactions that I had with different haunters, makers, vendors, and stuff there, even though a year had passed, when I would go back to Transworld, it was like we didn't miss a beat for a conversation. Like if we didn't finish a conversation in February of like 2003, we'd come back 2004. Like for example, I'm trying to remember which group it was. It was the Wolf Brothers. They did speed face paint, body paint, and we got interrupted on a conversation and came back to it. And that was the last year at Rosemont, Illinois. The next year was going to be in St. Louis. So go to St. Louis, meeting up with them, and immediately, what were we talking about last? Oh yeah, we were talking about this, and then got right back into the conversation. It was almost like that. It's got that same kind of attitude and feel in Palefest, but it's different still. People that I hadn't seen in a year. There's some people where it was like that. Just continuing conversations that a year had passed on and stuff. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was like trying to figure out where my booth space was. And you have, Good Sins, Jason Good, AJ's dad, setting up his booth, asking him who he was wanting as his neighbor, his vendor neighbor. And he wanted me, and that was really awesome. Because him and me, I feel like sometimes we get along. Like I always jokingly talk about how we can help each other's ailments or complain about our physical ailments and everything like that and stuff. And every now and then I'd poke my head through the curtain and bug him just because it was fun. And he's such a good natured person. He's such a great soul. Um, it was awesome sharing the same like area with somebody like that, being able to talk to him and whatnot. And Terry, AJ's granddad, he's so cool. Like the very first thing he did when he saw me, he came up and immediately was like, "I want to get a picture just now so I don't forget." And I got a picture. He got a picture with me. I got a picture with him, and he come by multiple times throughout Palefest talking to me about stuff. And not, it doesn't even have to. It wasn't even about masks or anything like that. We talked a little bit about wrestling. Talked a little bit about, the current status of just everything in general. He's just a really cool dude, and the whole Good family is. Anybody part of the Good family that came by, they're just really genuine, really welcoming, really awesome people. And that's one of the, I think one of the cooler things about it is because I've been a part of conventions and fests and cons and whatnot where you don't have a family as, I guess, well knit or well organized or well, cohesive and stuff as the Good family. I think that was the really awesome thing about it, is to see the whole family basically just getting along and just being awesome. It's a family that I would say other families should be jealous of. Not saying my family's awesome. As well. So it's really cool to see that kind of a family completely involved in something of that nature. Excuse me. One of the other things was people coming up and talking to me, knowing who I am through what had happened last year's Palefest, through the schlock treatment. Seeing my stuff, my work, seeing my YouTube videos, seeing my TikToks, seeing my posts on the House of Mass Hangout, and having those people come up and talk to me and remembering me from last year, but also mentioning that we never got to talk last year because I was so nervous and afraid of putting my foot in my mouth, being like the first timer there. I really did feel like an outsider at first, and then by the time I really, really felt welcome to be there, it had already, ended. But this year was different. I was showing up still kind of feeling like an outsider because, seeing everything everybody's accomplished and me feeling like I haven't accomplished enough to really hold myself in such a high regards as everybody else. But being reassured by multiple people that I should be, to have people coming up to my booth, knowing me from either my wrestling or my mask making, my YouTube videos. I had a couple people remember me from IWTV, the wrestling stuff. I had some people coming up and just pointing out their favorite masks that I made throughout this time. People that remembered me from Twitch, and I hadn't done Twitch in well over a year, is really cool too. And that to me, I wasn't ready for any of that, so it really it was kind of shocking at first because I was in disbelief that that many people would know me or remember me. And I was also in disbelief knowing that there were other vendors that I held in a high regard were coming up and talking to me and treating me as an equal, treating me like a friend, and I'll mention some of them as well, because I'm going to ramble a lot just because, and I'm not going to cut, I'm not going to edit, because I just want to get this out, and so it's going to be long. I'm very sorry. If you guys need to, go to the little settings icon ×2 and just speed me up. Just getting everything ready and stuff and running home. And I think that's one of the things that I actually like too. I like the fact that I was able to get stuff done, and then even though it's like 3.5 hour trip, be able to get home and still spend time with my family between the days. Oh goodness. Um, so yeah, I was actually only setting up for like maybe an hour or so before I had to already hurry off back home with the doctor's appointment and stuff I had to have that day, and I didn't want to wait another month to do it. So um, official day one happened. Got back up there, and I think one of the cool things about day one is I already had people hitting me up asking me if I was going to have certain items there. Matter of fact, I had 3 pre-sales for Palefest exclusives before I even made it there, which I wanted to throw their names out there just as huge thank yous. Was Sean, I hope I say his name right, not Kegel, Kegel. He hit me up because he saw my Will It Voorhees Joey Jordison that he wanted to purchase off me. Ashley Michelle saw the I'm trying to get off the top of my head the Billy, the puppet. Will It Voorhees I did, and then also Jeff. He Norris, I believe, was his last name. And do forgive me if I guys say your name wrong or if I get the wrong name. Hit me up. I think that was one of my favorite pre-sales, is because not only did he want a Will It Voorhees box that was one of the mystery boxes, because I did, and I have 2 left. I did these mystery boxes that had 13 different Will It Voorheeses. They're all different masks that I did up, and I don't know what was in any of them. And so he not only did he pre-purchase one, he asked me if I could gift wrap it and, like, happy birthday gift wrap. And come to find out, it was for his oh god, I'll screw that up too. I'm gonna screw it all up. His wife or fiance, girlfriend, her name is Victoria, very sweet woman. And so one of the best parts too, right at the very beginning, was everybody's showing up to get, Sean showed up to get his and was also picking up Ashley's masks. And then I have Jeff and Victoria show up, and they're checking out everything and whatnot. And it's like, oh, do you have it? And I was like, yes. And I got to bring it down, even sang happy birthday to her, and she got to open it right there on the spot. And she said there was one mask that she had in mind that she really, really wanted, and as soon as she popped it open, it just so happened to have been that mask. He didn't know what mask she wanted even. I didn't realize what mask I was grabbed, because after they were all sealed and stuff, the boxes and everything had been moved around. So I really, because I don't label them, I don't cheat. I don't secretly know which one's in each box. But on what I got, she opened it up. It was it was kind of like a rip-off Ghostface. They call it the Night Reaper. Some places call it the Night Reaper mask, and I had done that. She said it was her absolute favorite. She was so excited to get it. Like, even that night, like, she was posting little cool artistic shots of the mask and posting on Facebook and stuff like that. So it was like a really awesome experience right there, right off the bat, that not only do I get to present a Will It Voorhees box and sing happy birthday, because it's all in gift wrap. She opens it up and it's immediately the one that she wanted. Really cool experience. That was a really cool moment. And everything just started, and then right after they left, another really cool thing, and forgive me because I don't remember you or your dad's name, and I feel bad about it, because you were a really cool moment too. Right off the beginning was you coming up to me and you just immediately going, I loved your wrestling show last year. Oh my god, Johnny the Fridge McChill was so cool. And you came immediately just to get a Johnny the Fridge McChill mask, a mini Fridge McChill, as we called them. And so you immediately picked up one of those and one of the head skewer framed pieces that we'd had. We showed up with only 5 of them, ended up with 1 left, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep it because I don't have any. So being able to talk to you and talk to your dad even got a Vinny Ratlock shirt to sign, which was really cool. So that was an awesome experience also right off the bat. I got a list of everything that I wanted to mention and talk about. Um, um, I better cross them out, or I'm going to start repeating stuff over and over and over again. So I don't want to be doing that. I think one of the cool things to point out too was the fact that Mini Fridge McChill. So I worked on multiple pieces for Palefest exclusives. I worked on the Will at Voorheeses. In like 3 days, I knocked out 11 Will at Voorheeses masks, which is the fastest I've ever done. That I went like a, oh, what's it called? Conveyor belt style? No. Well, anyway, Henry Ford invented it. Assembly line, something like that. I went assembly line mode on the Will at Voorhees mask. I went assembly line on the Mannix that I did. That was a Palefest exclusive. It was loosely based off of this guy right here, Crest Yutters from Psychotic Symphony. Got his blessing to do the masks and whatnot, as well as a couple one-offs that I did. I did a golden head cage, and that was another thing too, because I was making the Jackal head cages as a special Maskmonger monthly mask box, and Bishop saw that and commented, "Are you bleeping kidding me?" And then hit me up being like, "You need to make another one for us." And I did, and I sent it to him. Found out because the new version 5 AJ Good masks that were coming out was very influenced on 13 Ghosts and um, the Jackal. Matter of fact, the packaging was done up to look like the Jackal's head cage as well, and which was really cool. And they were going to take some shots to promote it, and so Bishop was wanting me to make one of those head cages to help with the promotion. And I was so excited to do that. For the fact that the year before, I was trying to offer Bishop one of my masks as a thank you token to him. And he was like, "Man, I got so many masks already. Just go ahead and sell them and stuff." And I was like, "All right, all right, all right." So I was a little like, "Oh, he didn't want any of my gifts," but I was able to give him like patches and stuff in return. So the fact that I had Bishop actually hit me up saying, "Hey, I want you to make this and send to us and let us get it as soon as possible," I thought was extremely awesome. I was so giddy and excited about that because I was like, "Hey, Bishop actually hit me up to do like some kind of a collaboration piece for the House of Mass," and so I was extremely geeked and nerded out over that. I was over the moon. Like I don't think he even realized like how awesome it felt to do that, you know. And then when it came down to it, AJ already had his own, and so he didn't use mine. And I was like, "Ah, crap." He even showed me a picture of the cage that I made next to the cage that AJ already had. So I was like, "Dang it." Um, so, but anyway, for the Palefest exclusive, I did a variation of it where it was painted gold. It had little cobwebs, little spider webbies on all the sides of it and stuff like that. Um, and that was a fun piece as well. Just all different kinds of stuff that I wanted it to be exclusively Palefest only. Um, it was a blast. It was awesome making it and stuff. But the joke of it was people saw that and thought it was really cool. Uh, however, the one thing that everybody loved and ended up buying, the mask that did the best, because I almost completely sold them out, was the McChills, the mini fridge McChills. I sold out of almost every single mini fridge McChill minus the like three. One was given to AJ as a gift, and then there was two others. One was given to Anthony Rivera as a gift, and another one to Sleazy P Martini, which he immediately he saw it. He thought it was hilarious and put it on, and I got a picture with him. I'll put it right there. So minus those three gifts, all the others sold out, and that was incredible. That something like that happened. I wasn't ready for that, because a lot of the people that bought the McChill mask flat out said, "I loved." Like they all said the same thing. "I loved the wrestling show last year. It was so awesome. It was so crazy and so fun." And when they were pointing out when McChill first came out, a dude in a cardboard box, we were like, "Oh my god." It was the same thing that AJ said, it was like, and Bishop said, it's like, "Oh, what did you get us into?" But then by the middle of the match, everybody's like, "Holy crap." Like everybody was talking about how much they were cheering for McChill and stuff like that. So it was a really cool experience. The fact that McChill uh, is is loved in the Palefest community is an extremely awesome thing, and I really think the rest of America needs to take notice and listen to the Palefest fans. And we need to see McChill slowly take over the Midwest and in the world. Um, but so that was a really cool experience, and then just everybody coming by, and when I have other vendors and artists that were because it was hard for me to get away from my booth because a lot of these other vendors had two or three other people with them helping them out with their booths so they could kind of schmooze and cruise and whatever the other words are to go around and see other people. I didn't. I was by myself. A lot of times when I go and do these conventions and trade shows and stuff, I am by myself. The only time that it hadn't happened was in conjunction, and I had Zodiac with me. We had a really terrible experience in conjunction this year. Like nobody showed up. We barely made any money, and so I think that personally, I think that kind of scared Zodiac away from doing conventions and stuff like that. And I don't blame him. You know, it's hard to, as a vendor, starting off and trying to go venture into that area. When your very first one is that bad, it's really hard to strap your boots up and because we're wrestlers, so strap up our wrestling boots and go to the next one. You know, I've had so much experience in it. I've had so much experience having really good ones and really bad ones that to me, I just immediately start when that one is bad, you immediately start thinking about what to do for the next one because you don't want the next one bad. And so I had in conjunction was not a good turnout. VoltCon also was not a good turnout, but Palefest was amazing. I did more, like I said, business wise, I did more in Palefest on the first day than I did at in conjunction and VoltCon combined for this year. So that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I know I'm grateful for Palefest because at the same time too, Palefest is geared more towards what I do. Palefest is horror. Palefest is masks. Palefest is monsters, masks, metal, and I deal with those three. And that's why I'm like I always want to believe I'm a perfect fit there and stuff. Even with my wrestling, the wrestling with me is monsters, masks, and metal. So even though I'm always welcome within conjunction, I'm always welcome at VoltCon. I have friends there that I don't have anywhere else. Palefest is still the best convention for me. Even if not as a vendor, even if I was just going there as a fan, it's the best convention for me to go to. It's better for me. It's better than Days of the Dead. It's better than Horror Hound Weekend. It's better than Transworld. Any of those guys. But once again, to see other people coming to my booth, seeing people like, Mike Covert coming by, Paul J. Vick coming by, Joshua Everett's poking his head around, and other people like bands coming by, like Casper, Vox Stax, and Slim Jello, both from the band Green Jello, coming by, checking out my stuff, thinking I have really cool stuff, talking to me about mask making and stuff like that, was really amazing. And I'll get back to that in a little bit too. But seeing AJ coming by several times, making sure everything's cool, checking out my stuff, looking at me like, hey man, Bishop doing his thing, walking by, checking on me, making sure everything's cool. I really like it when you have people that are in charge, the ones that are in charge. I've been to conventions and I've been to trade shows where the people that are in charge kind of just sit in one area and they just they want everybody to come and adore them. But to see AJ and Bishop always on the move, checking on the vendors, doing little talks here and there about stuff and whatnot, and really connecting to everybody, I think that's another important thing about Palefest that a lot of other fests and cons and trade shows and whatnot lack sometimes. So that's also extremely awesome to have something like that going on. And anytime I called out to AJ or Bishop and them, they didn't act like they didn't have time for me. They'd always be like, okay, like even if they were probably in the middle of trying to get something done, they would always take a quick pause and be like, all right, everything cool, making sure whatever I had, they would take a moment to hear what I needed to say to them at that time, which was awesome. Because I've been a part of once again, conventions and fests and whatnot, where you need to say something to a person in charge real quick, and they kind of just go, yeah, okay, wait, and they won't listen to you. They'll go off to the other thing. I didn't get it that at all from AJ and Bishop, which is really awesome. Um, and then people that I talked to last year that I think, like, in my head I was like, well, the only reason why they talked to me last year is because it was my first year there, so they were being welcoming and cordial. This year's going to be different. Um, but it wasn't. It was actually, we even had better interactions and stuff. For example, like Trash Bag Ghost. He's such an amazing person. He's such an amazing artist. Genuine, good guy. I think he could. I think he could be like, "Fuck you" to my face, and I would still be like, you know what? Sure. Like he he has this aura about him, of like this crazy positive, fun, uh, uh, just aura about him. Like being around him, it's you you already automatically like gain like cool points just standing in his bubble and stuff. Like just sitting there talking to him. People seeing me talking to him, or like that don't even didn't even know who I was kind of like, oh well, I need to know who you are. Where's your booth at and stuff? Just because me and Trash Bag was just having a real, just a genuine conversation, just talking to each other and stuff. The fact that he was really still asking me questions and everything about um, my pro wrestling and stuff like that. Me even getting him to get up, and I was trying to show him some comedy spots and stuff that I did, and he was just like blown away. And because I was like, I could seriously pick you up right now, you not knowing, well, not pick him up, but he could get up, and with him knowing um, no actual knowledge in wrestling and chain wrestling, I could work a chain spot with him right there on the spot with him not knowing anything, and we would still both look good. To where I was wrenching his arm and making him give me a headlock and stuff like that. And there was people off in the distance kind of looking, being like, is Trash Bag Ghost kind of ready to be a pro wrestler? It was kind of funny. Um, and just like the interaction with him. Uh, uh, um, who else? Paul J. Vick. He was one of the people that I really looked up to and stuff. A longtime juggalo. Knowing that I've seen his masks at the gatherings, knowing that I've seen his masks on music videos with the clowns, or even on Slipknot and stuff like that. Knowing that one of my favorite horror films that I still consider just a dark comedy, because there's a lot of funny stuff happened, like Tusk. Knowing that he had his hand in on that. Um, it's still amazing to be able to go up and talk to him, and the fact that he came to look at my stuff and was pointing out several stuff that he thought was really cool. So to see him see some of my stuff and tell me that he likes some of my stuff is a huge thing. And that goes with the others too. With Mike Covert, um, and Michael Dunfree, being able to and like Dex, the guys from Ghost Giving, with Ricardo Grimm's camp. That was because these are people that I look like. I also look up to, especially Joshua Everett's. Like I had to tell Everett's this Palefest, the reason why I watched him last year's Palefest when he did the speed. I call it a muck wash, but he was doing like a black wash on top of a Corey Taylor, because he needed to speed age it because the person was leaving like in half an hour, and so he had to get it done as soon as possible. And watching him just kind of wet it all down and dab it and stuff. Now, when I was weathering my masks, it was taking me like 3 hours because I was spraying first and painting it on, wiping it off, and dabbing it, and wiping it off, and this and that, and sanding it, and seeing he had the exact same look I had, but what took me 3.5 hours took him 30 seconds. So learning from that, and trying to figure out how to make my own, and that's why I ended up having this guy right here. I call it my muck wash. I have it in two forms. I have it in the form where I just shake it up and drip it all over it, kind of like how he did his. But then I also have a spray style, And as I was doing that live on my TikToks over the past year, I was even to the point where I had people saying, "You need to start selling that because some of us mask makers, instead of us doing it this way, why don't we just buy stuff that you already have completed?" And so Mask Mugger Muck Wash is being born, and telling him about it too, and him being like, "That's hilarious. That's awesome that you do that." And I'm trying to tell him, I was like, "Well, hey, I do all the acrylic stuff. You should," because I was like, a Josh Everett's, a line of Josh Everett's dirt wash or something like that, latex dirt wash for latex masks and stuff like that. Those would sell. That would sell so well, And even talking to Jordan Patton. I really hope I say it right. Dead Next Studios. Is that right? Crap. I don't know if it is or not. I'd have to look it up. But he was in a Face Off for 2 seasons, and he had some phenomenal masks. Oh my gosh, the one he did for Grandpa's Eustace boogie mask from Courage the Cowardly Dog, amazing. Like all of his stuff was phenomenal. And seeing the video of him doing the speed sculpt for the green Jello Yuck mask that was in collaboration with House of Mass and Paleface and Blast from the Past and Green Jello and him, watching that sculpt sped up and stuff was just mind blowing. Um, and him actually coming up to my booth and talking to me and us just spitting it back and forth, because I saw him several times um, last year's deal, but I never really was able to talk to him because he was just so busy with customers and whatnot. Then like I said, being able to go around every now and then. Because the cool thing was, on day 2, Saturday, the one fan that bought, the very first guy that bought the McChill mask, him and his dad, were really nice. Matter of fact, he came back. The guy came back because I'd done 6 McChill masks, and so let me take a step back, because then we have another guy who's really awesome, and I talked to all throughout the year since meeting him last year, um, a wrestling fan and mask connoisseur. Um, what is his name? Blake Billman. So Blake, last year, he we ran out of time because I had to get home and stuff like that. He wanted the Carver mask that I had. So there was 3 Carver masks that I still had. One was painted up uh, like Kane, and he's a big Kane guy. So he ended up buying the last 3 Carver Corpse masks off me last year. So then this year he saw that I had a Kane Carver Corpse, or no, a Kane McChill. So he came up and he was like, I gotta have it just because it is. And he ended up buying that. He ended up buying 2 um, uh, mystery boxes off me and stuff, and also got a Zodiac Vengeance deal. So that was amazing, and seeing him come back, and he's been talking to me. But then the best thing was the next day, the guy who bought the first McChill mask came in, and he's looking around. And he was like, "Oh, where's that Kane one at?" Because I guess he was wanting Kane too. Now there was a lot of people eyeballing this because I did the specialties. I did a Kane, I did I did a Kane, I did a Gold Dust, I did a Danhausen, I did a Doink, I did a Road Warrior Animal, and a Demolition Axe. What I didn't realize, and the people next to me, here I got their name right here, Hobo Toys. I don't remember their names offhand, but they were Hobo Toys. I'm gonna show that on a different video because I'm gonna show like some of the stuff I scored and whatnot. She was eyeballing the girl that was in the group was eyeballing my Gold Dust and my Doink, and I was pointing this out, and she wasn't there at the time. But the guy, as soon as he found out that I sold Kane, he was like, "I want those other 5 now." So, so he showed up, saw that Kane was gone, just bought the other 5. Just didn't even care. He's like, "I don't even care how much," and I gave him a deal on him. He was like, "I want those 5," and so he ended up picking up those other 5, and he was just so happy about it. And then So that was really cool. I really wish I remembered your name, you and your dad's name. You guys were awesome. Um, it was great to have to deal with a fan like that and somebody, because that's the thing is like you don't have to always spend money with me for good support. I mean that helped out a lot that he did that. But there was people that showed up that didn't buy anything off me, but the conversations that we had, the positive thoughts that was brought to them and said to me and stuff, I will always appreciate those just as much as anybody that supported me through financial ways. Because you can support somebody without having to spend money. But you know, I still need to pay bills at the end of the day. Um, one of the other things that was awesome is getting to meet Miles. Miles Rat, who is a tattoo artist, and matter of fact, he doesn't live too far from me in real life, and was able to talk to him, and not only talk to him, but talk to him about the current situation of the tattoo shops that he is currently working for. Because at the time, I had a falling out with those tattoo shops because the guy that was owning it is a very swollen head, very, very egotistical guy. Supposedly, he's gotten better after a relationship status change. But never reached out to me about it and everything, so I don't know. But this guy, Miles Rat, genuinely cool guy, great person to talk to, phenomenal artist. I know eventually, if I ever have extra money to throw around, he is a person I want to um, set up a tattoo session with. I have a list. I have a bucket list of people I want to get tattoos from. And he is now on that bucket list. So, Miles, thank you for your conversation and everything like that. Um, what else? What else? What else? TJ, once again, TJ was the very first person I talked to last year. Was able to talk to TJ again. I think TJ was actually the very first person I talked to when I got there Thursday to set up. I believe he was the very first person. Like, hey man, how's it going? You know, I gave him a hug and everything like that. He was such a good guy the first year too, because didn't know me from nothing, and immediately was like very welcoming, very hi, how's it going? Let me show you around. Let me here, and you know, help me out the best way he could. And so being able to see him a handful of times was really awesome. I think I finally got a picture with him this year, so that was really cool. Um, and like I said, with Dex and the Ghost Giving Squad, I was able to go over to their booth several times. Every time I did, you know, we just like, hey man, how's it going? Da, 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 talking and stuff like that. Being able to talk multiple times, like because with Ricardo Grimm last year, he was the second guy I talked to, and then the second to last guy that I talked to. Um, but I got to talk to him twice. But Ricardo this year, I got to talk to him a handful of times, and we had a really meaningful conversation towards the end. Um, and that's why he's one of those dudes where, you know, even if he wasn't a rapper, if he was just an everyday guy, you know, I would still go out of my way to, you know, be his friend. He's a real cool dude, and I thank my lucky stars that, you know, I've met people like that I can consider friends. You know, him and his entire squad are just genuinely awesome people. And then there was new people this year, like Wendy Horror. Um, she was an event staff. I believe she was helping out with some stuff, and was also sharing had like some of her artwork at oh no, why does this keep happening? My brain, Mike's booth, Covert's MC Studios. She had some really cool paintings of like clowns and stuff like that. And I remember her coming over as I was trying to get everything set up, asking me if everything's okay and this, that, and the other. So she was an awesome person, and you could tell that she was really eager and really happy to be where she was. She had a great personality and everything. I only talked to her like once or twice, but she seemed really jazzed up about Palefest. It's really cool to see people like that I hadn't seen before and being as excited about something as I was. So it was really cool to meet her, and she's following me. She ended up friending me on Facebook, followed me on TikTok, followed her back, and I that's what I like is that the Palefest family is expanding, and that's really cool. Because I have different families. I have my main family, who I would never trade for the world, unless it's my dad. But then I have my wrestling family. I have the people in my wrestling family, and then and now I have my Palefest family, because I have my House of Mass family and I have my Palefest family. So there's the House of Mass family, which is this big circle, and then right inside of that I have my Palefest family. And so new member of the Palefest family. That's awesome. Being able to go and talk to, like I said, being able to talk to Joshua Everts and have a longer conversation than just a, hey man, I really like your work, cool, all right, later. Being able to actually sit and talk with him, a combined time of like 45 minutes of just conversations, and bumping into each other and stuff, and meeting his girl, I believe she's known as Nikki. She was such a sweet lady. I swear I need to get my wife to come over to one of these Palefest, because she's like, everybody, I know everybody would get along with her. um it's good to see, you know I love the fact, like, my wife is extremely supportive of me and stuff, always been. And it's really cool to see, because I've been, like I said, once again, I have experience, years of experience of being at other trade shows and cons and stuff, where you hear these guys that are doing their stuff and vending and arting and stuff like that, and they're talking about, oh yeah, my wife at home, she's not, well, she's just da, 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 da. But when you go there and you actually see the guys doing the stuff that I'm doing, or the women doing the stuff I'm doing, and they have their loved ones in full support of them, it's a really awesome thing. It was awesome to see uh, people in that kind of support, and it's a great feeling to see that happen. And I guess they had their anniversary this year, so once again, happy anniversary, guys. Here's to many more, hopefully. That um, my brain keeps leaving. Then there was a sorry, Nicholas Cottrell. I want to mention him too. Oh my God, his Skin Rot Studios, super amazing. God, he's such a really good artist when it comes to doing the rehauls and stuff like that. I've seen his clown rehauls, his Leatherface rehauls, just his work as a clown, his hobo style clown, the stuff that he did for the Bozo uh, uh, um, exhibit and stuff like that. I followed him all year. He's an amazing artist. He's a really cool, down to earth guy. Having some really good conversations with him. Almost every vendor that I've looked up to and I hold in a high regard, the conversations that we had at Palefest, none of them would disappoint. You know, there wasn't any conversation I had with one of those people where I walked away going, oh, okay. Every one of those conversations, I felt better as a person, as a creator, you know, and I also just felt more motivation to keep pushing on and keep being a better person and creator, artist and whatnot from these people. And Nick was definitely one of them. Um, and the same with Mike Covert, being able to sit and talk with him, seeing that Mike was as a big of a fan of Psychotic Symphony as I was, talking to me about seeing the conversion of the mask that I did, and him being like, and him and me both agree, is like, oh, how cool would it be to get them to get back together, do a reunion show and have it at Palefest next year. It was like, and him and me talking about, it's like, we got to keep our eyes out for a Topstone, because I did the conversion of the Krusty Utters mask based on the links that Krusty Utters himself sent me. So I bought exactly those that he sent me. And after I put it together, he said, that's probably one of the best recreations I've seen of my mask. But in my head, I'm like, I know that there's a different style. The wig is definitely different. Looking at the music videos, at the photos and everything, and looking at what he sent me, I'm like, it's definitely something different. And I found a more a different wig that still seems more accurate than what I was sent. So I will be working on a revamped version of it and having the sculpt done, him allowing me to do the sculpt and whatnot. But yeah, talking to him about that stuff, and he's, oh god, picking his brain and stuff like that, and talking to him about how stuff was amazing too. So like, all these people, I'm like, thank you for even giving me time to talk to you, pick your brain, or just even saying hi. Um, Anthony Rivera from Devil's Reel. I wasn't able. I don't think I was really able to talk to him at all last Palefest, but it was like coming up to him, just wanting to greet him and stuff like that. He immediately was talking to me as if we, had been talking to each other for years. He like, and that's the thing. Like all these guys, all these creators and stuff like that, they do these like terrifying masks and horrible. I say horrible, but not horrible as in bad. Horrible as in just like scary stuff and gore and whatnot. And then you talk to them, and they are like genuinely the nicest people and just very down to earth people and stuff. And Anthony's no different. He had an entire studio like booth set up to where not only because last year it was just like taking photos of masks, and this year he'd do the whole person's body and whatnot. And then his band. Haunter performed, and they had such an awesome look. Very, very like goth, like had like the vampire look and feel to it. I love the red, like the silky red like vests and stuff they were wearing. They did a really good performance. But being able to sit down and talk with him and stuff, and talk to him about the stuff that he's doing. Like we were talking about stuff that worked and stuff that didn't work when it came to doing sales and whatnot, merchandise and everything. Talking about the not disposable, but talking about this is how it happens. This is going to be a 2-hour thing just because of everything I'm trying to think about. Passive income. Talking about trying to access like Amazon more when it comes to doing books and calendars and whatnot, and getting to know Canva better. And so he was a really cool guy to talk to, and I was only 2 booths away from him, so it wasn't hard at all. But but a lot of times he was so busy doing photos and stuff and getting ready to perform, I really didn't even get a chance to talk to him until maybe the second day. But yeah, once again, that's a thank you goes out to him. Being able to really, see, I saw Nightshade last year. He kind of just came by my booth, hey man, da 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 da, and was gone. So this time, him being a vendor and me being able to actually go to his booth and check out his mask and talk to him and shake his hand, that was really cool too, because I follow his YouTube video as well. I enjoy his YouTube videos. So that was really cool to get to talk to him and look at his mask that he had available and seeing how he made his mask, because he was doing like the kind of like a rotocast type deal, but he was using his hands and stuff. So he was like full old school resin casting his mask to be recreated. He had, let's say he had 40, was it 40 masks? I might be wrong, but he sold out all of his masks, and that was so cool. Him being a first time vendor, and like he was even talking about on his little thank you video about people coming up knowing him and being fans and stuff and wanting his stuff, and seeing his reaction was how I was last year, and still how I was this year. So I mean, it was an amazing time. I'm trying to make sure that I have everybody listed that I'm shouting out to, because I don't want to miss anybody, and I hate that, but yeah, the other thing I loved was, okay, so more on that. Slim Jelly came by first, and I just, I saw the outfit. I was like, oh my God, the outfit is just insane. I love it. And Slim Jelly came by, started looking at all my stuff, and she was like, well, I'll be right back. She brought Casper back. Casper was checking out the stuff, and then Casper was talking to me about some things, about him potentially wearing a mask because he was getting sick and tired of not sick and tired, but there's days that he just didn't feel like wanting to paint his face and stuff like that. So him and me going back and forth, me coming up and getting some shots of his face and of how he paints his face up and stuff. Fingers crossed something will come of that. And not only that, even it came time towards where I did extremely well. I ended up basically selling out of all my stuff. Um, I posted a couple, and this was the coolest thing of the con. Um, was early that morning I posted basically just the layout. Here, it was a layout of all my stuff, and I got contacted by a person I kind of knew. They were following my Massmonger page, and they messaged my Massmonger page basically saying, um, giving me a secret, something's going to be happening starting of next year, but because of that, they said, whatever you have left over, we want to buy you out. And we see all your masks, and we would love to have it with us. And so I was like, yes. Oh, cool. But they were like, well, don't stop selling, just whatever you have left over. And I'm like, okay. Um, so sitting there knowing that whatever I don't sell is going to be bought is a really cool feeling. I even got to let Bishop know that. I was like, Bishop, oh my God, this just happened. And he was like, all right, man. He was like, I'm really happy that that's a really cool thing. Like, so Bishop kind of congratulating me on that was really awesome. Because I wanted to believe that I was going to sell out, but there's still that thing in my head going, I don't think everything on here is going to be something that everybody's going to want anyway. Um, the only the only thing that the other deal that I made with them is anything that wasn't tagged Palefest exclusive. They did get the dibs on after the con. Anything that did have a Palefest exclusive. So, and when I say that, hold on. So, for example, these guys, I say they're Palefest exclusives because they all have a Palefest exclusive tag on them. This was done by Tony Welch, also known as Spider Cereal, on Instagram. He did the drawing for me. I etched it onto the wood, and not only that, but it also glows in the dark. So all these masks that have that, I'm giving first dibs to House of Mask people. Like they get the leftovers. I give them a chance of leftovers before I sell any of that to them. Unless they, I was like, the only way I would sell those to them outright is if they were going to pay me basically at least 80% of what I'm asking for, because I would rather House of Mass people and Palefest people be holding on to Paleface exclusive stuff than you going to wherever they may be seeing the Palefest exclusive tag on it. Like I said, I probably already said too much. I didn't sign an NDA. He just asked me not to talk about it too much until they announce it next year. So I have a lot of, well, not a lot, but I have items that have the Palefest exclusive tags on them. So it's kind of like the Palefest leftover thing I might be posting on either on here or on the House of Mask Hangout, something like that, to give you guys a crack at it before he ultimately wants to bite off me. But still, it's an awesome thing. I basically was sold out. Like if I wanted to stop right there at like 2:00 on a Saturday, I could have. I could have just said, boom, packed everything up and left. But I wanted to just still see what I could sell there and hang out and be able to. And so like at a certain time, I was able to start giving my goodbyes to the people that mattered. Saying goodbye to AJ, saying goodbye to Bishop, saying goodbye to everybody that I had a conversation with, whether it was a vendor, an artist, or even just one of the con goers. That was awesome. And it was time, like in my head, I'm like, okay, I did so well enough, it's time for gifts. So I was I handed out like the 3 Johnny the Fridge McChills. I ended up handing out 2 of the Mannix. These are all people, and 2 or 3 mystery boxes, and there are people that I give a crap about, that I really connected with, and I would love to network with, and stuff like that. One of them, like I said, being able to stop and talk to Sleazy P. Martini, and him being like, I was in costume a couple hours ago because I was originally wanting to put on the Johnny the Fridge McChill outfit and go next to Sleazy P in full garb and get a picture of both of us. It ended up not happening. Also, why did I forget his name? Lonnie. Oh my God, Lonnie with his group Oh my God, Lonnie's band blew my socks off. They were such an excellent performance. Um, and that's one of the things for you to have a Battle of the Bands, and your Battle of the Bands in Chillicothe, Ohio is going to have a band from the UK to show up to play. That's awesome. And then seeing Lonnie's stuff that he's been working on, and him showing off the music video, which I got to see a bit of, and being able to actually talk to him and shake his hand once again, get a picture with him and his band. That was all just amazing. I can't believe why I skipped over Lonnie. Lonnie's just a cool dude in general, and he's got such an amazing future, and he's still so young. So so yeah, I can't believe I can't believe I was getting ready to leave out Lonnie. And then you know what? The sad thing is, there's gonna be like a handful of people I'm gonna leave out, and I feel bad for leaving them out because I don't want to. So if you're watching this and I left you out, comment it, so then I can do an apology video for leaving you out, because I feel silly for that. I shouldn't be doing that. This is over an hour freaking long. But yeah, being able to have final goodbyes and sit downs and with Ricardo, Grimm, and Trash Bag Ghost, and Paul J. Vick, and stuff, and the fact that they were they even like were leaving me with parting gifts as well. I'm gonna have to unbox that later, because I got one from them, and this awesome piece. I'll talk about that later. Trash Bag Ghost with Rivera, with Gatrell, with Perfect Ugly, Paul J. Vick and them. It was an amazing weekend. It was. And so, like I said, now we're dealing with post Paleface depression, because when you have such an amazing event like that, and it's hard to it's like watching a really awesome movie that you're completely enveloped in, and then the credits roll and you have to go back to regular life. Which I'm not saying I hate my life. I love my life, my life, my wife, my children, my job, mask making, my TikTok community, my YouTube community. Everything is awesome. It's just one of those things that by the time it's over, when it's finally over, you're like, oh God, not yet. No, we can't go home yet. And so that's that thing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I have a crappy life outside of Palefest. It's just Palefest is one of those things that when you experience it, Palefest is a dopamine. It's you're there at Palefest, and your brain is just, for me, my brain is just currently dumping dopamine all throughout my body and making me feel great about everything that's going on. So it's it's like it's such a dopamine dump the whole time, and making me just feel great for all that happening, that it's like you're away from it, so now you're starved for that same dopamine. You're starved for that same feeling that you get at Palefest. So the only thing you can do is wait for the next Palefest and just remember that feeling throughout the year, and hope that next year does have a Palefest. And me being a wrestler, it'd be great, because this year it was Palefest 3D. So in my head, I was hoping that next year will be like Palefest for life. So sorry about that. Oh my God, it is. That's the only way I can explain it. Palefest is not just a convention. Palefest is not just a trade show or a festival. Palefest is an experience. Palefest is a event. Palefest is a defining moment of the year for certain people, and those that are gifted enough to go, those who are lucky enough to go, those who will know to go, in the know. Ha. No. Anyway, it's very hard to explain Palefest, but the best way I can explain Palefest is it's a dopamine dump. I am big into horror. I'm big into metal, and I love mask making. I love making masks. I love collecting masks. So the fact that all three of those are combined, I feel like Palefest is geared towards somebody like me. And so anybody else that is like-minded, people that I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're watching this and you've never heard of the House of Mass, I mean, yes, go watch the House of Mass. But even if you don't watch the House of Mass and AJ or any of that stuff, you still want to go to Palefest. You're still, if you like mass and metal and horror, Palefest is the only option right now. Because it has all three. So, like I said, even if you don't watch House of Mass with AJ Good, that's not a good enough excuse to not attend Palefest. You still should go attend Palefest because it is. All other fests pale in comparison, and it is the God's honest truth. If I never knew who AJ was and I went to Palefest, I'd be like, I need Palefest every year. And I'm still at that point. I need Palefest every year. I want Palefest. I want Palefest now, even though it's over. I want Palefest next week. I want Palefest next month. And I can't wait for Palefest next year. It better freaking happen. If not, I will make Palefest the at-home game. Little board game. And we bounce around and we check out the wrestling show and then the Battle of the Bands. And have little tokens of sleep tokens. Anyway, so I'm still rambling, but once again, big thank yous out there to everybody that I talked to. It was awesome. We sold out. Once again, thank you to Anthony Rivera, Jason and Terry Good. You guys were awesome. Mike Covert, Paul J. Vick, Joshua, Nicholas. Your guys' conversations were very uplifting and motivational, and wanting me to just, like I said, be better honing my craft and whatnot. Michael, Trashbag, Windy Horror, Nightshade. Once again, it was great. Some of you I just met for the first time, but I felt comfortable enough to being around you to where it was like old friends, and just it was an amazing time seeing your guys' work, seeing your guys' mass, your creations, picking your guys' brains and stuff like that. The other people like Miles Rat, you're such a talented artist, and I've seen you make I watched you make incredible tattoos, and I can't wait to see more of your work, and hopefully I'll get some of your work on me. Huge thank you to the Ghost Giving group, Dex Butler, Ricardo Grimm. Once again, always amazing talking to you guys. And this is like the third time I've talked to Ricardo Grimm in person, to where we're almost getting emotional. Him letting me know stuff and whatnot, and me pouring my heart and soul out to him. And Jordan Patton, first time really talking to him this year. Amazing. He is an extraordinary artist. There's a reason why he's done what he's done. Sleazy P. Martini, really down to earth guy, really cool guy to talk to. The fact that not only did he, like I said, not only did he accept my McFridge chill gift, he actually put it on. God knows if he still has it or not. I would love to believe that he has it. I'm still blown away over the fact that sometimes when I watch a House of Mass episode, Johnny the Fridge 3.0 is just chilling at the House of Mass, and having people coming up to me going, "Oh my God, I saw that dude I saw McChill at House of Mass." Like the fact that they're like pointing that out. I'm like, that's really cool. It's a really cool feeling. It's also fun joking. The green, oh my God. Yeah. I didn't even talk about that. I'll talk about that on another one, but Green Jello, being able to see Green Jello live, finally knowing them since I was a child and being able to see them live now. And not only that, but seeing, I jokingly said there's some Johnny the Fridge McChill cosplayers out in the group, because they threw out the boxes of pool noodles and people were putting on the boxes and walking around. I'm like, oh, look, it's Johnny the Fridge McChill. It's a cosplayer. I'm going to book him for a match. And yeah, like Man Speaker and Slim Jelly and Casper Vox Stacks, having you guys come up and look at my booth and compliment my stuff, and then being able to see you guys perform was extremely amazing, extremely awesome. And just the whole House of Mass family, I can never thank AJ and Bishop enough, especially Bishop. Bishop's the one that reached out to me about the wrestling. AJ coming up to me again, and the number of people that came to me telling me how much they loved my wrestling show last year and how they were bummed that there was no wrestling this year. and how they are like, there's got to be a way that you do some wrestling next year. Said even if you can't get it for Palefest, if we can work something out, they're like, if we can work something out with House of Mass and maybe do like a special House of Mass wrestling show. I was like, yeah, I'll set up in the parking lot. I don't care. I I do no ring shows. You know, I'm even doing like thumb wrestling shows. So it's like, if you have a space, I can do a show. You know, and that was my whole thing of putting it out there. But yeah, the whole crew, like, I will forever be indebted to Bishop and especially AJ. Get ready to get more stuff in the mail. um, but and then the last but not least, LGB and Jericho Jones. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't even have a booth this year. You guys were kind enough that when I did not have the extra money to throw around, that you were able to work deals out with me and get really cool stuff in return of you guys actually helping sponsor me and fund me to have a booth there. And not only that, the people that did their pre-sales, like Ashley, Jeff Victoria, Jeff and Victoria is what I meant, and Sean, making your pre-purchases, guaranteed gas money for me to make it there and back. So thank you guys very much. If it wasn't for you five, I wouldn't have a booth, and I wouldn't have had a back and forth to Palefest. So you guys don't even understand how much more you helped me out. And as always, the last two people that I want to thank, which I know I'm probably forgetting other people, and I'm very sorry, is my mom, for always telling me I can do it and always being proud of me, even if it's something that she didn't agree to. Me going out and doing it, she said she couldn't be more proud of me. And this whole time through the mask making, when I ran my own game store, became a father, became a husband, every little thing I did, she was rooting for me the whole time. And I can't thank her enough for that. And then lastly, I would love to also thank my lovely wife, Weird Science, as we call her on thing. But Kristen, I love you so much. Thank you very much for always supporting me. When I know times were when what I was doing seemed like a dark cloud was over me, and it looked like it wasn't going to turn out well, and you still gave me that extra push to make sure that I'm doing what I can to achieve my dreams. Um, and I don't think there'll ever be another person as, even including my mom, to have somebody like you in my life, so supportive, like you in my life. I don't think I can ever thank you enough. I think even I could buy you the biggest, most expensive golden diamond, God knows what it is, bigger than a house, and I still don't think it would be enough to show my appreciation for you to even be in my life. So thank you, honey, and I love you. I always will. And that's it, guys. Let's look forward to potentially another Palefest. Thank you for watching this. God knows this was long enough. Still some other videos, though. I'm going to show you guys my haul and stuff like that. So until next time, just remember, because I forgot,